I had to disappear out of the public eye to put the pieces back together and rebuild myself. Man, this video ain't for the faint-hearted. This video ain't gonna be for the folks that ain't spiritually minded, spiritually sound, all of that. It's not gonna be for y'all, man. So a lot of the stuff I'm gonna talk about probably won't even resonate with you. But hey, hold on to your seats, man. So a lot of times, man, and specifically according to my life, I had to disappear, man. I had to relocate. And on this channel, we talk a lot about isolation. We talk about separation to get oneself in good standing, just mentally sound, spiritually sound, getting closer to God, building on y'all's relationship, understanding where he's guiding and directing you. A lot of folks don't really have that time to separate themselves and kind of focus on oneself and understand internally who they are. They're lost in the sauce of the world, and the world continues to move them along, push them along. Their friend circles push them along. So they don't really get that time to sit down and really evaluate themselves. And I'm in that season of walking through the wilderness once again. My whole life seems to have been like that, and it still seems to be that way, to where I'm in these seasons of isolation, separation, and it's like God's trying to reach out to me, get something across to me. And I'm not going to act like I wholly, fully, always get it, know what he's trying to do, what he's trying to say. Because my flesh is always combating. It's always trying to go against the grain. But, you know, obviously, I want to tap in and tune into what the Most High has for my life and where he's guiding and directing me. But this video is about people that really are broken, people that need to rebuild. Not to say that's me fully, but at times touching back into letting the world dictate and guide your path, we kind of create this external being, not who we are internally. And I mentioned this in the other video. There's a book called Conscience of Now. Forget the author, forgive me, but look into that book. It's definitely powerful. And in that book, it talks about soul fragmentation, living in the past, focusing and worrying about things in the future. You're not in the consciousness of now. You're not in the present moment to where God is moving and acting ever present. Like when people pray things, people ask for things, they act like it's eons away. They act like God don't hear them in the present moment. God is moving now. God is in the present. Everything you ask for, you already have. Those are the things you need to declare and proclaim over your life. But to that point, soul fragmentation. Maybe you're stuck on an old job. Maybe you got fired from it. You're over here reminiscing and wonder what could have been, a relationship, worrying about your future, your finances. Maybe you're on a note to be evicted. What's gonna happen? Where will we go? You're not living in the presence of now and the peace that God provides in the now. When you're all over the place, you're not really tuned into God's voice and what he's doing in the present moment and the peace that he gives you that surpasses all understanding, right? So with that being said, there's times to where separation is a great thing. Now, I felt and I heard and understood that God was calling me away from my hometown. I made a huge move. Well, I guess what would be huge to some, but anyways, I pretty much just dropped everything and moved away. You know, some know, some may not know, but I've been in California for a few months now. I'm from Texas originally. I made my way out to the West. And these are things I considered, I consulted with the Lord about. And I'm getting in the pattern and the rhythm of always asking God about things. Don't be one to just make your decisions and choices. Because man makes his plan, but God directs steps. So always consult with your Father. Always consult with the Lord about things and moves that you want to make. So with that being said, I made the move because I believe God was calling me in that direction. You know, and a lot of people talk about blessings and God having to bless you, or he will bless you once he relocates you. We know the story of Abraham. Abraham had to move. He actually heard God's calling. Well, God told him about relocating to a new place, a new land, and blessings and things were guaranteed, or the Lord said that he would actually give him. Now, Abraham was obedient. He was faithful. So I don't believe he did things off the merit of what he would receive, but he understood to follow God's voice and the plan he had for him. So I prayed about it, and I know I heard God's direction. With that being said, this is all a testimony. Sometimes I'm kind of timid to reveal too many details about my life, but then At times, like, the Spirit tells me, hey, be open and transparent, because these videos are meant to help other people. If you relate, comment down below. If you feel like you're in a season to where God's trying to relocate you, heed and listen and follow through. But with that being said, the unknown, it was the unknown. I didn't know what was going to happen. All I knew was I wanted change, man. Being in Texas, born and raised there, of course I moved away, came back a lot of different times, but I just felt stuck. You know, I'm remote. I can have flexibility to work where I want to. So I had the flexibility to leave because I still have a job, right? I can work fully remote. But with that being said, I have another channel, which is monetized. I make money on it. Generated a generous following on that channel. A lot of fans, subscribers that support me on that channel. But it was like, in the process and understanding the move, there were certain things that were happening before the move that was kind of like showing and symbolizing to me that the old has to pass away and you have to move and step on into a new season. And I allude to my channel because I was working on it for 5-6 years, man. 5-6 years. Fort Worth Fabian channel. Y'all can look it up. It still exists. At a point in time, I was set to actually have my channel deleted by YouTube. And there was like these little inklings and tidbits that kind of kept popping up that were alluding to the fact that it's time to let go and move on. Of course, stubborn as I am, I didn't want to let go. But, you know, God was giving me signs and he was telling me, let this go. I have something new. And you know, I started this channel, Fabian Speaks, a month before I left or so. And now I'm just like hitting the ground running with it. And I've really, in the past, had prayed to God for purpose and things that had meaning in my life, that I wanted to walk into his will for my life. Because you know, the will of God, it will fulfill you. It will have purpose, it will have meaning, and it will excite you, it will rejuvenate you. And then everything that I wanted to experience and feel, essentially, I'm getting through this channel, even with 130 subscribers, because I know I'm putting a message out there that can help people. When I see the comments, hey man, I appreciate this and that, that means the world to me. So the other channel was great. I was entertaining, but there wasn't that true fulfillment, especially tapping into the gifts God has given me, gifts of encouragement. You know I have a gift to encourage, and I've always encouraged, and I've always liked doing it. So why not do it on this platform? So the point being is, I had to consider letting go a business that I curated and worked on for 5 years, that's already monetized. In my mind, I was always thinking I'm one video away, one viral video away, it could change my whole life. But in all honesty, it was just something of the past, and the things that I was doing to kind of push out a certain workload was just toil. You know, the Bible talks about toil a lot, and the things that are of God, the things that God gives you and blesses you with, don't really require too much toil. Of course, the Lord wants us to work. You have to always work, put in work, try, effort. But when you're just beating a dead horse, I don't think these things are from God, because it comes to the point to where you're using your man-made capability to try to bring things to fruition. And God does all. You don't have to, get out here and act like you got to do all the work, put in all the work. Because at that point, where does faith come in? Where does God doing all things come in? God's a good God. He's in complete control. He has a plan. And he knew what he had designed for your life before you even existed, before you were even in your mother's womb. So I say that to say it came to a head to where I had to leave my city, my town, my family behind. I had to leave a business behind, and I didn't want to do it. But then the more that I'm here, I understand that it's like being washed anew. I don't want to be fragmented, like I was saying earlier. Soul fragmentation, to where bits and pieces of you are just left in a timeline. You need to be all fully in the presence and the conscience of now, walking fully in your purpose. And in the relocation, in that isolation, God is revealing things to you. If you haven't been there, you're scared to take the leap. Take the jump, take the leap, do it. And being obedient to God, it never fails, it never misses. And sometimes you may question it, but listen to your spirit, man. Even in the midst of me questioning whether, oh God, did you really tell me to move? I still just had the hunch, and I believed and I have faith. All things work for the positive and the good for those who love God, for love Jesus. So regardless if you make a jump, a leap, you take a risk, a chance, God's still there. He with you, he guiding you. Don't think you're making mistakes, because God is the orchestrator He can reinvent timelines. He can change time span. Time is nothing to him. He can realign things that you could never even fathom. So no matter what you do, it's a win-win regardless, is what you need to really believe and hope in and trust in. So I say that to say sometimes you could be called to let go of things of your past, things that you just wrestled with for ages, for years. But God's saying, hey, you need to put that down, and I'm gonna have you walk in this new season and this new blessing. So I say all that to say that I had to do it, I had to let go. And there's a lot of times to where you start over. A lot of people really resonate when you lose things, when things in your mind, in the human mind, seem to be going left or seem to be going wrong, that you're right, very near, very close to a breakthrough, that things are gonna change in your life. So take that as assurance, as confidence, but don't be afraid to let things go. People in the regular world won't understand this concept because they don't understand the magnitude of God, how God can do anything. If there's something that they've been working on forever, they're gonna hold on to it, right? You can't hold on to your treasures of the earth. These things, when you die, where will they go? They'll collect mold and rust and all these types of things. They'll be passed on to a next lineage. You can't take these things with you when you go. That's why God talks about storing up your treasures in heaven. Focus on heavenly things. So with that being said, man, if you're at a crossroads or a time to where there's something that you've held on to for so long and you think God is asking you to give it up, you got to give it up. I had to let go of relationships, friend circles, a lot of things, man, just to be alone. But God's goodness, grace, and mercy surpasses everything. What he can do surpasses everything. Obedience is the biggest thing. If he's telling you, calling you, things can be tough, but trust in him. Because I'm not going to act like I'm perfect. I was stubborn the whole time. I couldn't let go because there was so much pain within me, but I prayed over that pain for God to subside it. When God tells you to get rid of something or let go of something, there's always something greater on the other side. He's great. He's good. He's awesome. So that's why I made this video, with an understanding at times you may have to let things go. At times you may have to be called into another area, another season, so that God can rebuild you, reconstruct you. Not in who you think you are, but who God knew you were the whole time. We tend to try to be who we want to be, what the world tells us to be, what we should look like, our image, how we portray ourselves, but we're like fitting into a mold. We're trying to acquiesce to a mold, but that's not who God made you. That's not who he created you to be. So there's times where he needs to wash all that away, wash you clean, and rebuild, put back the pieces. Just trust him in the process, no matter how painful it is, because you'll come out on the other side of things greater, stronger, just a better overall. Yourself, you will be a better you, a greater you, in Jesus' name. So with that being said, man, like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see y'all in the next one, man. We out.